Hey everyone, it has been a very long time since Brian and I have made a video. Man, life has been so crazy since the last time we have made a video, and most of you know that we have moved to Texas, and he started school in August. We started going to a new church, new house, new everything. Family, friends stayed in Colorado. So we're still getting to know people here and trying to get connected, and it's been crazy. Trey, my oldest son, started pre-K, and that was a change because I wanted to be not a stay-at-home mom, a homeschool mom. Decided to put him into school, and yeah, so for some reason I felt prompted to make a video tonight. I went to a women's event at my church, and I don't know, my church is so awesome. It's so full of God's presence, and I just am overwhelmed at his love for us, and he's given me so much joy in this move, and I've had to trust him like I've never trusted him before. Moving from Colorado has been hard. I've had to leave my church home there and my family, and I miss my church family there. I miss the community that I've had, and it's been a lot of just me and the family here, which is good. We've needed it, but just miss having people around and to talk to and that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to share with you guys just my experience, and just kind of give you a little background. So we moved here April, end of April, beginning of May. Kind of went to one church that we thought for sure we'd be at when we moved here, and it just wasn't like our church at home, Radiant Church. We wanted everything to be the same type of preaching, same boldness, same children's type of ministry. I came with this list of, this is what I want in a church. I want God's presence. I want it to be biblical. I want the kids ministry to be, on point. All these things, which are good things. There's nothing wrong with those things. But when I went to this church that I thought for sure I was going to be at, it was just totally different. It wasn't home. It wasn't Radiant Church. It wasn't what I expected. So I kind of got discouraged and started church hopping. We started church hopping. Now, mind you, this church was also an hour away from where we lived. So we thought, okay, well, maybe God has something closer to us. We've been traveling an hour to and from church for a couple years now, even in Colorado. So we were thinking, okay, maybe it's time for us to have something closer, have a community that's closer. And so we decided to church hop. We found a church that we were told about before we came. That's only about 15 minutes from our home. And at first glance, it was like, okay, this is as close to Radiant as we got. But I just felt an uneasiness that something wasn't right. I didn't know what it was. I just felt like something wasn't right. Things started to just happen where, like, the first Sunday that we ended up going, and ended up talking about, college, and how SAGU, which is the college Brian's going to, is now partnering with this place, and you can go to college here. It's cheaper to go through them, and you're doing an internship and all this stuff, which is perfect, exactly what we really need, because then it gives you hands-on experience and it's not just all classroom stuff and all that stuff. So we're like, this is great. This has to be God. Then we went to like a welcome lunch for newcomers. We went to that, and lo and behold, we got set next to the facilities director. That had to be God. So this guy, was like, oh, maybe we should. He really tried really hard to get Brian hired, which he actually eventually did get him to where he could have taken a job there. However, you'd have to go to church there and all that stuff. So we went there for 2 months straight and just realized that there was something not right. And I couldn't put my finger to it, but Brian was kind of like in between. He didn't really know. And I felt like it's time to go back to the church that we originally were going to go to when we got here, the very first church we visited when we got here. And we went back, and my goodness, was my eyes open like they never had before. The love and the presence of God was so thick, and the only complaint I had was that the kids ministry wasn't quite like Radiance. It's a new church. It was a new church, and it had only been open since last September, so less than a year. And so, there was a lot of that's just new. So they're learning and they're, growing and all that stuff. But other churches that we visited, people weren't like giving messages, like they were babysitting our kids. That wasn't what I wanted at all. I don't want to bring my kids to be watched. I want them to learn, the message and be learning to pray and all that stuff. That's what Radiant Church did, So anyways, we went back to this church, and man, it just has been an incredible journey since then. We continued, and we just know that God has led us to what is Risen Nation Church. It actually changed names in the middle since we've been there. It was Lifestyle Christianity Church. Now it's Risen Nation Church. Pastors are Todd White and William Hinn. And wow, it's just incredible. I was able to go to a women's night tonight and meet somebody there tonight, who I definitely believe God has led us to, me personally, to her, to get to know this family and to just do life together. Tonight I have felt like I belong. I belong somewhere. And I wouldn't necessarily say I haven't felt that before, but it's different. Things are different here. God has been showing me that He knows best. He knows what's best for me, and He knows what's best for my kids and my husband and my marriage and everything. I thought things were super great in Colorado, and I miss so many people there. I thought that church was just like out of this world, and it is. It's a wonderful church filled with wonderful people of God. And He took me from something very, 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 very good, and He brought me to something that's even better for me, for where I'm going, what He's doing within me and my family. And I'm just here to encourage you that if you're in a place where God is telling you to do something, no matter how scary it is, no matter how much it makes sense, no matter whether it looks right to the world or not, go with God. I promise you, He will not disappoint you. Things may not come together exactly how you wanted it to look, but He always does what is even better than you can imagine. We've been here for going on almost 6 months, I think. Five months. Going on 6 months. And I couldn't imagine being where I'm at now. I never thought it could be this good. I guess I didn't even picture it getting better. I didn't know that it could get better. I thought I was at the best it could be. And he has brought us from glory to glory. He's taken me deeper than I've ever been with him. And he is just doing something in his body. We are his body. Us not listening and obeying to God is like saying, our brain is telling us to breathe, and yet we don't want to. We know that it's good for us, but we don't do it. We must obey God in anything he leads us to. We don't know what's best. He knows what's best. Again, if you're questioning whether you should do something and whether it looks like it makes sense or if it's realistic, if it's God, he will provide. Every step of the way, he will provide. If you lean on him, if you look to him, he will give you strength. He will guide you. And he will bring you from glory to glory. Well, guys, I love you guys. I miss you guys wherever you're at. And I hope that this encourages you to just go with God. Don't get discouraged. Go with God. Keep your eyes on Jesus. He's the author and finisher of our faith. It's in our weakness that he is strong. And it's the joy of the Lord that is our strength. God bless you guys, and I hope to talk to you soon.